Last week it seemed anyone whose name that will certainly be listed on those of infamy were busily patting Ashley Bloomfield on the back for a job well done. The latest statistics, however, were released showing that the day before was our biggest daily death toll from COVID. Despite all the jabbing, the mandates and the mask wearing, the single biggest day for deaths. Jab, 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 then you die. I bet you didn't know that, since all the main news outlets quietly ran anything but that. Those of us who read and rely on the BDF for the truthful background to such news, we all knew, as that most important data was so ably highlighted by Cam Slater. The doctor who had become a political teller of untruth should not have been patted on his back for a job well done, but he should be getting booted in the arse for being such an absolute fool. The previous worst day was 10 deaths lower at 34 back in March this year. So much for this misguided, nonsensical advice of Ashley Bloomfield as he exits his job. And this is what that fool said. Research shows getting boosted is one of the most critical things someone can do to reduce the risk of dying from COVID-19. This Dr. Bloomfield continued, people not fully vaccinated against COVID-19, meaning less than 2 doses, is 6 times more likely to die if they catch COVID-19 compared to someone with at least 1 booster dose. Now that load of rubbish was also published and backed and broadcast by the mainstream media. The statistics say otherwise. Yes, the statistics certainly say otherwise. Now just remember that Jacinda Ardern told everyone that if you got vaccinated you wouldn't get sick and you wouldn't die. Then there is Joe Biden, that twit of all twits. He said you couldn't catch COVID if you were vaccinated. So how did that silly old fart catch it? In fact, he caught it a second time within just a few days of his first encounter. Bloomfield's claims are a lie. The statistics show his claims are absolutely untrue. The vast majority of deaths now are among the boosted. It's so bad that the Ministry of Health has deep-sixed and changed the basic printing information of those statistics so you can no longer easily view this huge disparity. More vaxxed and boosted people are filling up the hospitals, and those vaxxed and those boosted people are in fact the ones who are actually dying. COVID-19 was never the disease of the unvaccinated. Many New Zealanders woke up to that 2 years ago. They were right, of course. COVID-19 is now proving to be the illness of the vaccinated. Those over 70 years of age are the most highly vaccinated and boosted in the country, yet it is those that are dying from COVID. Jab, 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 and follow Bloomfield's advice. Get jabbed again, and maybe again after that, and you'll probably become very ill with something very wrongly called long COVID, or otherwise you'll probably die. The situation has been very clearly pointed out by Cam Slater and other journalists who are not in the pay of the PM's office or New Zealand On Air, but none of us would overlook the ever-increasing number of doctors and researchers who are now putting out those same warnings. These doctors and researchers so clearly point out, do these fools not understand that continuing to push a vaccine produced to defeat Alpha, which only exists in the lab now, onto a population to try and mitigate Omicron and its variant is an exercise in not only futility, but it's also mind-boggling stupid. No one gets mRNA shots anymore, not for themselves, and certainly not for their kids. More than a month after regulators broke every guideline they have to approve the shots for children under 5, more than 97% of the kids that age remains unjabbed. Congratulations to those kids' parents. Yes, congratulations, who have read the science and realised that the horse shit that was fed us by Bloomfield, Wilkes, Hendy, Plank, Baker the traffic light maker, and the utter nonsense spoken almost daily from the Ardern pulpit of crap. The stats are not looking good for those who so blindly believe the horse manure fed us by Bloomfield and the army of our family doctors that decided to turn and support the political lies and untruths rather than stay with science. I hope this is not the last we see of Ashley Bloomfield, quite honestly. I want to see him again, along with his bevy of irresponsible experts, standing in front of us New Zealanders, yes, in front of you and I, in the dock of the accused of the highest court of this land, or even better, in the International Criminal Court in The Hague, for their despicable and their deliberate twisting of science and truth.